Never stop reading Bible. Welcome, everyone. Today, we are diving deep into Ezekiel, chapters 21 and 22. And let me tell you, this is an intense one. It's all about prophecy, divine judgment, and the very real reasons behind a coming destruction. So let's get right into it. Wow, the prophecy just drops us right into it with this image, doesn't it? A sword. Not just any sword, but one that's been sharpened and polished, ready for one thing: a great slaughter. This isn't some vague warning. It's a crystal clear declaration of violent judgment. It really sets the tone and makes you ask, what on earth is this all about? So to really get across the scale of what's coming, the prophecy uses two incredibly powerful metaphors. Each one shows us a different side of the destruction that's on the horizon. Okay, first up, picture a raging forest fire. It's fast, it's out of control, and it burns absolutely everything in its path. This is a picture of an all-consuming judgment, something that will just sweep across the entire land and leave nothing behind. But then, right after that image of chaotic nature, the prophecy shifts to something way more personal. A weapon. This isn't just some random disaster. This is a targeted, deliberate act. And the details here are just fascinating. The sword represents a direct, purposeful slaughter. And get this, the text even names who's going to be holding it: Babylon. This was seen as a divine sentence, and it wasn't just for Judah. It was aimed at their king and even their neighbors, the Ammonites. No one was safe. Which brings us to the biggest question of all, right? A fire that burns everything, a sword that spares no one. Why? Why was a judgment this severe and this total necessary? The text now shifts from the what to the much, much deeper question of why. And to answer that, we get another really powerful metaphor. If the judgment is like a refiner's fire, it's because the nation of Judah itself had become like dross, the worthless impurity that's left over when you're refining metal. This comparison really gets to the core of the issue. Pure metal is valuable, right? It serves a purpose, it reflects the one who made it. But dross is just garbage. It's the waste that gets skimmed off and thrown out. The argument here is that the people had become spiritually useless, totally unable to reflect their creator. So, after setting up this idea of worthlessness, the text starts to build its case. It's almost like a prosecutor in a courtroom, just systematically laying out all the evidence for why this judgment was not just deserved, but unavoidable. And the logic is spelled out in these 4 steps. It all started with the cause. They had completely violated their covenant. Now, that became a massive problem because of the second point. They refused to turn back or repent. So the purpose of the judgment wasn't just to punish, but to purify the land with fire. And finally, it had to hit everyone, because every single level of society was involved. And that's really the key here. This wasn't a problem of a few bad apples. We're talking about a total systemic corruption. A spiritual rot that went so deep, it was threatening the entire nation's existence. And that brings us to the final diagnosis. Just look at this breakdown. It is a complete societal collapse. The leaders, the princes, were violent and corrupt. The spiritual guides, the priests, were disrespecting holy things. The prophets, who were supposed to be messengers of truth, were just giving false visions to make money. And the people themselves were just oppressing each other. It was a failure from the very top all the way down to the bottom. So this all leads to the prophecy's ultimate point. The fire and the sword weren't just a random disaster. They were the direct, logical, and, frankly, the inevitable result of a nation that had completely destroyed its own spiritual foundation. The severity of the punishment was a direct match for the depth of the corruption. And that leaves us with this really challenging question, one that feels just as relevant today. When every single part of a society, the leaders, the spiritual guides, the people, all crumble morally, what's left to hold anything together? This explainer was brought to you by the Center Studio.